Within the topic modules and process, you need to mention point number 1 as upstream, point number B downstream. Okay, point number A is upstream, point number B is downstream. Okay, upstream and downstream. Now, within the topic which is upstream, you need to mention parent realm, P-A-R-E-N-T, parent, R-E-A-L-L-M, realm. Upstream means parent realm. Okay. Now, within this topic, what you need to write? Have you guys noted? Within the topic parent realm or upstream, you need to mention focuses on three segments. Focuses on three segments. You need to run faster. Okay. When you make notes, you need to run faster and try to note as fast as possible so that I'm able to move to the portal, to the tool, and then can explain you guys. Parent realm, three segments. Segment 1, SLP. The full name of SLP will be Supplier Lifecycle and Performance. SLP, Supplier Lifecycle and Performance. Second will be strategic sourcing. Second will be strategic sourcing. Third pointer will be contracts management. Third point will be contracts management. Now, please take a look into my screen. So on the screen, you can see there is a globe here. Just next to the logo, which is P, there's a globe. In the globe, when you click here, you will see C is coming, SAPP, and then C1 test. So in the end, there is a P, right? So it means parent. It means parent. It means upstream. Now, when you wish to quickly switch to the child realm, you click here and then you click on the option which is coming up. It will automatically turn up to be as a child realm screen. Okay, this screen is the child realm. Okay, you again click here and click on P becomes a parent realm. So now that you have written three topics as P as in parent realm, C as in child realm. Okay, in the parent realm, we have three segments. One is SLP, second is sourcing, and third is contract management. In the child realm, again give three segments. Segment 1 is all about Ariba guided buying. Second will be catalog management. And last will be invoice reconciliation. Invoice reconciliation. Now you have three sub-segments in upstream and three sub-segments in downstream. Clear? We have three segments and we will learn three segments. In child realm also, we have three segments and we will learn those three segments. So the entire SAP Ariba is divided into parent realm and child realm. Parent realm has three segments: SLP, strategic sourcing, and contract management. Child realm has got three segments, which is Ariba guided buying, catalog management, and invoice reconciliation. The upstream and the downstream that you guys are aware of. So here, when you click this globe, you are able to switch from upstream or downstream. Clear? Moving forward, what we are going to do is we are going to toggle on the screen. I'm going to show you how upstream and downstream works. Here is the manage. Okay. So when you click manage, this is basically the screen of SAP Ariba. This is how it looks like. Okay. This is the exact figure. And this is a test site. In the test site, you are able to do anything. You wanted to create a project, you wanted to run something, you are able to do it. Okay. Now in the test site, you can see this is the screen. You have home, supplier management, you have catalog, okay, and all other options are synchronized here like this: sourcing, contracts, procurement, suppliers, product sourcing, supplier risk, supplier management, like that. Catalog is in the last. So this is how the entire screen is enabled for you. Now here, whenever you do something, this comes here in the recently viewed. Okay. Now we quickly jump on to manage section. Okay. Manage section is the section from where you can navigate into other screens. So in the manage option, when you click on SM admin, you are there. This is the section of upstream SLP part. Manage SM admin upstream part SLP. So please note down on your notepad. How do you go to the SLP segment, which is from manage? You quickly click on to SM admin. SM means supplier management. Okay. Now manage SM admin and it becomes SLP part. Now, when you quickly jump on to the other options like data import export, we have options how we are gonna move the data or manage supplier management activities. This is from data import and export. Second part will be default field value. Okay. So within the default field value, you have import and export option. So this is the place from where you import and export the supplier details. Third part is ERP integration. So within the ERP integration, we will learn how do we integrate SAP Ariba with other cloud platforms or other platforms like SAP MM, S4HANA. We are going to integrate this with any other particular ERP. It could be JD Edwards, it could be Fieldglass. Anything gets integrated through supplier setup or ERP integration. Okay. Third option is integration status. Within the integration status, we get to know how many records have been transferred from Ariba to S4HANA or from S4HANA to SAP Ariba, to and fro. Okay. So we give the time range: 1 day, 1 hour, 1 week, 1 month. And then when you click search option, this tool will show you how many records have been transferred. Okay. Moving forward, we have mass invite. Okay. So now in this table, in this option, you actually invite suppliers to register on Ariba. Okay. On the other hand, we have some options like inactive supplier. So let's suppose these are the suppliers which are already there in the system and you wanted to reactivate them. So this is the place from where you are able to reactivate. So these are some of the activities that we are going to perform in the upstream part, specifically into SLP. SLP is supplier lifecycle and performance. Okay. Apart from that, we will now move on to downstream. So downstream again, click on manage and then core administration. Okay. Manage and then core administration. This is downstream. Now in the downstream segment, you have site manager, data import export. You have integration manager, again data import export, integration status, endpoint configuration, mutual TLS configuration, managed gateway for spend and network. Now in the notepad, please note down CIG is a middleware. CIG is a middleware. CIG stands for Cloud Integration Gateway. Okay. So CIG is a middleware which interacts with the existing ERP, which is SAP MM or SAP Ariba, for the transfer of data. So how do we go to manage CIG? Now click on manage core administration, and then integration manager. Within the integration manager, we have managed gateway for spend and network, which is collectively known as CIG. This is the SLP section, data import and export. Can you see the data import and export option that I'm clicking here? I have selected supplier. Now, in the data import export, when you click supplier, you first of all download the sample file. Can you see the sample file downloaded here?
Yeah.
Now, this is how the sample file looks like. Okay, it's a predefined template where you have to enter the details which needs to be uploaded. Okay. Now, ERP vendor ID, you have SAP MM or S/4HANA. You mention the ERP vendor ID 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is. Okay. You have SM vendor, supplier management vendor ID. So you will getting SM vendor. Now you have to click on master vendor ID. So this is the master vendor ID. This is the source system from where it is coming, SAP MM or S/4HANA or any particular tool from where the supplier is coming up. Okay. What is the first name? Mahendra is the first name and the last name is Wag. Okay. So Mahendra and Wag. So these two names, first name and last name, can be mentioned here. The phone number of the supplier is here. This is the SM vendor ID. Master vendor ID you have in your system. Okay. This is the master vendor ID. Source system is SAP MM S4HANA. Okay. So when you create a vendor in the system, the ID that gets generated on SAP Ariba, that becomes SM vendor ID. So I'll show you on the screen how it looks like. When you get onto supplier records, let's say a supplier is created. You can see here SM vendor ID. This is the SM vendor ID. Eco Seating Private Limited is the name of the supplier. So Eco Seating, when you create a supplier and that supplier becomes fully approved in the system, an SM vendor ID gets generated here. That's one single unique ID which is specifically given to Eco Seating Private Limited once this gets fully approved in the system. So once this becomes a fully approved vendor in the system, there is an SM vendor ID gets generated, which is a unique ID for this supplier. Okay. Now that the ID that you have within your existing ERP, which is SAP MM or S/4HANA, you have this ID as the ERP vendor ID. Correct? So that's the difference, SM vendor ID and ERP vendor ID. So master vendor ID here is the master record, the SAP MM that you have in system. Okay, you have the master vendor ID, which gets registered into the system. Whatever you have as in ERP vendor ID, you will have the same to same record here. So here the master vendor ID and ERP vendor ID, these two will remain the same. SM vendor ID will be the one which is here in the system, this one, and source system is SAP MMS4.
Right.
This is the source system from where you have picked up. Name is Mahendra, second number is Wag. This is the name of the supplier. You have the phone number.
Right.
Okay. Fax line 1, line 2, line 3 no longer in use. You have to put in the postal code or PO box number, which city you are from. Let's say you are from Bangalore, you are from Karnataka. Okay. The supplier information that you need to mention here, and then you have to save it somewhere in the records. Okay. Now, very important part is like you do not disturb this template. The template that you are able to download from SAP Ariba, this is a predefined template and you're not supposed to touch at all. You're not somebody moved from ERP vendor ID from A to C or from C to D. So you don't do that. Otherwise, system will not be able to pick it up from the system. Okay. This will remain as is because this is the predefined template given by SAP Ariba and this is what you download from here. Okay, we'll get back to the screen where we have that SLP option. Now you have to upload this particular Excel file into the SAP Ariba from Manage SM Admin. You get back to the same screen. Data import export. Supplier option is there. Sample file is what you have already downloaded. Now what we do, this is also export option. When you click here, the system will give you one more Excel file, which will be similar to that. That will have the record of all the vendors which is there in the system. Everything, all the information which is there as a vendor into the system will come over here. So this is what we have from export supplier CSV. Okay. Export your current available data. This is what exactly this says. Export your current data. So what you have downloaded is the list of all the vendors which are already empaneled into SAP Ariba. So how many records are there? 3,748. So whenever you upload any new vendor into the system, we don't do it from the download or the dump which is given here, because we will have thousands of records. And suppose you gave a space here like this, and then you upload Mahendra Bagh, okay, and then you try to upload it into the system, it will take a lot of time because we have 3,749 records, and it might give you an error or a bug. So what we do, we create through sample file. The sample file is a one single sheet, one single page which has come down from your download, and then you have mentioned the information here, and you're trying to upload it through export inactive supply data, this part. Okay, so what we do, we choose the file wherever it is. You choose the file, you have to save this one. Now there is one more technique here. Whenever you save this, let's say I'm saving it on my desktop, you have to always save it as CSV file, comma delimited CSV file. Okay, so that's the format in which your SAP Ariba is going to accept the load, and no other file, comma CSV. Now you simply save it here on your some Visual notebook might not have, yes. So when you save it as a comma CSV, this is how exactly you will be doing it. Okay, you open up here and it will come up. You upload it, it'll take it up. Okay, so this is exactly what we do in the data import and export option. So we have multiple options from here: data import export, file type which is supplier. We have supplier from sourcing, supplier contacts. Let's suppose you want to update the supplier contacts number. So again, you download a sample file. Sample file will come like this. You have very few information. Okay. Now here you have mobile phone number and other information, contact details. So you simply mention the supplier's contact details, this ID, and then upload it here to the choose file option, and then you upload it. Supplier's record will get populated into the system from here. Data import export, point number one, data import export. So in the data import export, we upload the records of the supplier within SAP Ariba. Second part will be ERP integration. ERP integration. Second part will be ERP integration. Now just give a small space and please mention for adding oblique modifying the existing ERP, which is CIG and ERP link, which is CIG and ERP link. Yep. Third point will be integration status. Integration status. Now give a small space and write down inbound plus outbound movement of records. Inbound plus outbound movement of records. Now I will explain what is inbound movement and outbound movement. Inbound is the records moving in from SAP MM S/4HANA to SAP Ariba. which is an inbound. So you can see in this screen, there is a small arrow. Direction is showing towards down. This is inbound. Outbound is like when we try to migrate or move our data from SAP Ariba to SAP S/4HANA. That becomes outbound. Kindly make a note. Within the ERP integration topic, initial supplier synchronization. Next session, whenever you are going to proceed, please make a fair note of all these things on a good, let's say, suppose you're writing in a rough note here, please note it somewhere in a very fair way, because these pointers will never come again, and you need to learn these things again and again. You have to, mug up everything, because the interviewer will not ask you how data is migrated. The interviewer will ask you basic questions only. He will just try to understand what is your concept toward this particular topic. So it is important that you know. Okay. Now within the ERP integration topic, you need to mention after the supplier gets fully registered, ERP integration segment to initial supplier synchronization. Can you see here on the screen? There are options given, right? So integration type, where when you click integration type here, you will see Ariba Cloud integration is coming up as an option. It means that this integration will be taken care from SAP Ariba Cloud Integration Gateway. Okay. And the ERP from where the data will come is S/4HANA. ERP Business System ID, the name of the ERP from where you are migrating the data, that is S/4HANA. What is the name of this tool? The one which I'm using. The one which is I'm using is Professor's RSA. The name of my tool is Professor's RSA. If I click on the logo, it shows Professor's RSA 89. That is the name of my tool. Okay, so that name will show here. So the Ariba that I'm using is Professor's RSA. The data is coming from S/4HANA, which is ERP Business System ID, and this is the ID of that particular ERP. And what type of integration we are doing? The integration is doing is a SAP Ariba Cloud integration. That's the integration that I'm doing. Now, quickly moving on to the second point is initial supplier synchronization. So within the initial supplier synchronization, you can see automatic and manual synchronization. You have automatic and manual synchronization. Okay. Now, please note down on your notepad. After the supplier gets fully registered, will it get synced in the backend manually or automatically? That is decided over here. Now, choose how supplier records in Ariba database are first sent to the ERP system. Now, you have to choose as to the integration should be automatic or you are going to do it manually. That is what when you work as a consultant within a multinational company. So your boss will ask you, how do you want to synchronize the data? Are you going to do it automatically or are you going to do it manually? So we generally select, automatically. Once the supplier is registered into the system, I will after this class, I will show you how a supplier is created. So create supplier is an option. You create a supplier request here, option create, and then supplier request. And then from here, you can create a new supplier of your type. So let's say the name of the supplier is Mahendra Wagh Steel and steel products. So I will create a supplier by the name Mahendra Wagh Steels or infrastructure. And once the supplier gets fully registered, this should get synced into the system. So when a supplier is fully registered into the system. Let's suppose I'm creating a supplier by the name Paresh Oil and Gas. So I'll again create a supplier request. Once I create supplier request, I'll feed the information, name of the supplier, address of the supplier, PAN number of the supplier, all other information, and I will submit it. It'll go to my boss. My boss will approve it. Once my boss approves it, a link goes to the email ID where supplier will be logging in. So suppose I am giving Paresh to be as a supplier vendor. So Paresh will be receiving a link on his mail ID to create his profile on Ariba. Once Paresh will submit his details, it will come to me. I will again send internal questionnaires. It will go back to Paresh. Supplier will provide his information, his doing business name, his PAN card, his GST number, his bank account, every information. And once he submits it, it will come to me. I will approve and it becomes a supplier, a registered supplier here. I will save and this successfully saved preference. So this is how a supplier is synchronized through automatic synchronization. Quickly get on to the next topic, integration status. Give a new topic on your notepad, integration status. This status tells you, answer is, this status tells you the in and out of the data from Ariba to HANA, which is backend, or from HANA to Ariba. The batches keeps running every 4 hours. This is basically a practice site. So whenever you learn something, you always run on a test site. Okay, so servers are of basically three types. One is the test server, the other one is the quality or the assessment server, and the final one is the live server. So whatever integration activities you do, you always do on a test site so that you don't impact the original master data. Okay. Moving forward, this status tells you the in and out of the data from Ariba to HANA or from HANA to Ariba. The batch runs every 4 hours. If the background job does not run with each other front and back end, in that case, we check in SAP for scheduling the job. Now here, in this option, if there is any supplier coming in or going out, all that can be tracked through this integration status. If the supplier movement is happening from SAP or S/4HANA to Ariba, or from Ariba to SAP S/4HANA, okay, that integration option, this option, the integration status will tell you. Arrow upward means Ariba to backend, okay, Ariba to backend, and arrow downward is supplier has been pushed from backend to Ariba. So here in the integration status, we exactly what we do, we try to figure out what is the status of the movement of data. So in the next session, we will learn how do we mass invite, how do we activate or deactivate, how do we cancel the qualification, and any kind of template upgrade.